There's money on the floor. 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 She's a savage bitch. Run those to the floor. She run for that money. You know she a bore. Bang your knees, bitch. She can take a loss. Taking that ass till she can't no more. Drop that, break that, wiggle that back. Break that, work that, break that back. Break that back. Bend them knees. Bend them knees till you can't no more. It's money on the floor. Give me some more. It's money on the floor. She's taking it all. It's money on the floor. It's money on the floor. There's 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 money on the floor.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, welcome everybody.
Hey y'all.
Okay, on
What was that
period.
all
What's
about?
good, everybody?
Hey, what's going
What's
on?
poppin', y'all?
What's going on?
It is
Oh, wait, hold on.
everyone's favorite time of the week. It is time for the gentleman's panel. Okay, on period. So we have, okay, to my right, I have Captivating Christian.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome.
Everybody drop some crowns in the comments. Welcome the gentleman's panel here to the lituation, okay? On period. And then right below me, we have the Rebel Son, okay? Make sure you guys are dropping crowns, okay? Puriana to the Purier. And then, okay, to his right, we have the executive producer, okay? Brother Jay Wilson. Hey!
Thank you.
What's good, everybody? How did your Memorial Day weekend turn out?
I'll go. It was good. I mean, it was small, very small. I think it was like 6 people, but it was good. It was good. The same 6 people I'm usually always around, so it was good.
Absolutely. Rebel?
I actually stayed at home. I didn't go to my family's. I did a StreamYard, but I had a friend to come by, and we just sat up and talked. That was it.
That's it. Just talk.
That's talk. That was it. Unfortunately.
Brother Jay?
You know what? I spent time with loved ones, and I really had a good Memorial Day. It was really good. I enjoyed myself. I wasn't on YouTube except for Sunday because I dedicated some time. You know, you always got to put that time in. So that's what I did. So I had a good Memorial Day.
Okay, on period. I had a good Memorial Day too. I really did. I went to my mom's house. She barbecued my favorite barbecue ribs. Okay, on period. And you know, I ate good and I enjoyed myself. Yeah, I really enjoy eating good and hanging out with family. So that was lit. Yeah.
Was it a large group? Was it a large group of y'all?
No, we were just immediate family. We just me, my sisters, one of my cousins, my sister kids. Like it was just us. It wasn't like no outsiders or anything like that. Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool. So I sent over some questions. Did everyone get a chance to review the questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so you guys are ready to keep it lit, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about cancer culture. Okay. People will throw dirt on your name. Okay. And be mad when flowers grow from that dirt. Okay. What are your thoughts on cancel culture? Let's start with Rebel Son.
I think it's good sometimes to pay people dust, and I'm trying to work on that because sometimes I feel that you do have to drag a person if they think that they can disrespect you. But I don't think that reacting off your emotions is always a good thing because it could get you in trouble. In person, you may punch the person in the mouth, what most likely I would have done. But since now I've gotten older, I'm 27, 35 years old, and I that I have to learn to practice more restraint. I have to practice more restraint because it's not a good thing. You know, we should be logical and just giving people, listen, you don't exist. I'm going to ignore you. And it tends to piss them off even more because some people, I've witnessed that in person when you just ignored them. They've gotten pissed off because they want to feed off your reaction. So I agree with you. You know, I could see canceling a person out. That's more positive than reacting to someone. Because what does it prove in the end? You know, we're just what primates, we're higher evolved primates reacting when we should be more logical, you know, and not react to everything.
Absolutely. Did you get a chance to check out Doja Cat is Over Party? What are your thoughts on Doja Cat?
I didn't check it out.
Well, Doja Cat, she's basically this
Oh,
rapper
yeah.
that they're trying to like give the crown to, and basically she's been caught in some racist chat rooms, and she was caught saying the N word with the hard ER.
Okay. Oh,
Yes. So
should that be acceptable because they've embraced our culture? I don't think I don't think the N word should be used by anyone. And, you know, even if we're saying we're giving power to it, I think, you know, it's just had such a negative meaning behind it throughout time for us as Black people. I think no one should use it. We can't say white people shouldn't use it, but your brothers, your children, your sons talk like that. Do you not have an issue with them? You know, reciting rap songs. They call it N's and B's all the time. Is it okay for them to do it? So I don't think she should have said it.
absolutely. And captivating.
As far as cancel culture, I mean, I don't really even know what that's about. Personally, I just feel like we collectively have the power to cancel folks, but everybody's not on the same accord. So we don't really cancel folks. We get mad for a moment and then it's over. As far as anything else, as far as not responding to people or as they say, paying people dust or whatever, I mean, as Michelle Obama says, sometimes you do have to take the high road and, not respond to people beneath you because they may not be beneath you in other ways, but they may be beneath you in the way they conduct themselves. And you just have to carry yourself accordingly and just rise above it. As Candy would say, Candy Bars. But again, as far as the cancel culture is concerned, and regarding that particular artist, she personally, I just feel she knew what she was doing. She's riding that wave of, she claims that she has African heritage. Her father must be African or of some sort or whatever. But she's been riding that wave of people just assuming that she was of Caucasian descent or what have you. And she's been, in their chats saying things, calling Beyonce Beyonce Monk or whatever kind of monkey in her name, whatever. She said other things. I didn't do. what was it? I didn't do nothing. I ain't do nothing.
Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing.
Didn't do nothing. A whole song, and it was basically referring to when police officers are harassing people of color. The first thing somebody shouts out is "They ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing." So she made a song about that, picking fun at it, making fun, jokingly. I have an issue with all of that, but it starts with us. They emulate a lot of our culture. We seem to glorify this word, as some people say, gave it power or give it power. Um, but I really employ a lot of people that say it and say those actual words about giving it power. Say that to the people that were hanging from trees because of that word. Say that to the same people that couldn't eat at a lunch counter and got food thrown on them for saying that word. Tell them that and ask them, do they feel empowered when they hear it coming from their people's mouths? Ask them that. I really employ people to ask them that. And then you may look at it differently. And that's the problem. A lot of times we look at it a certain way because we don't include ourselves in that form of history, in that part of history, because it has nothing to do with us. That was before us. We don't have nothing to do, but it has everything to do with us. It has everything to do with right now because we're still in it. So, I mean, that's all I have to say. Sorry for taking so long, but
oh no, it's okay. And Jay Wilson?
Well, first of all, the best revenge is success. So let people throw dirt, all the crap, all the S, because the best collard greens and the best plants grow with manure. So let them throw it and you grow. You're right. You do grow. And revenge is the best success. So that's what I will say on that. When you are actually doing your thing, when you're actually doing things that people may not know about, but keeping yourself busy doing other things, you have little time to sit there and argue with people. When you are really on your grind and on your game, you really don't have a lot of time for stuff and you just move on. And so that's how I feel about that. I agree with the gentleman on the panel. You can't call yourself a B and then get mad when somebody call you a B, but yet you use it that way. A B is a B. I was listening to Maya Angelou, and she was saying that poison is still poison, whether you get it out of a can, and she said whether you put it into Belgium or crystal, it's still poison. You just put it in another container, but it's still poison. And so all of this stuff with the N word and the beads is poison. And according and with that young lady, I'm sure that Mr. Floyd's family doesn't feel that way. I'm sure Mr. Castille's family doesn't feel that way, and Sandra Bland's family doesn't feel that way, and all of the other people who've lost their lives to this. I don't think it's funny at all. And I know for a fact I was stopped by the police just because I drove a nice car, and they were doing a drug sweep. It was in the 90s rather. And the person who stopped me, we went to high school together. And I'm like, do you think I'm a drug dealer? And I know my lights are not out because this is a brand new car. I shouldn't have to be pulled over and be profiled. So I think we ought to really quit with this. This is why, we need to back off of this crazy stuff, because right now we're going through some serious times. And, I know people always want to say that this platform is boring, but this platform talks about things that we should be talking about. And I just think that we need to chill, not only in this sector, but in the hip hop sector and all of the sectors with using the N word and calling women out their name. You get to the point where we've embraced this poison and then get upset when somebody else calls us this.
You know what I will say to that? And sorry, we've done so much of trying to escape our lives by throwing ourselves and watching TV or watching YouTube or doing anything to escape reality, that at the same time we choose these platforms and things to escape reality, reality is happening and people are dying, policies are being made, And by the time you come out of whatever euphoria you wanted to feel while you was watching and laughing and joking, stuff is actually happening. So again, like you said, Jay Wilson, you can call it boring all you want, but at the same time, there's stuff really happening right now.
Yeah, and to speak on that too, how many of you all have felt your senses form out? You know, we don't think that stuff is important, but then when they don't build that community center in your town, the first thing you'll say is they don't do nothing for our children, they don't do nothing for us. But you didn't take the time to fill out a census form,
Right.
And now we see what's going on. You know, I don't know about you all, but seeing that man put his knee in that man's neck
and have no regard,
and he died right on TV,
have no regard for his life at all. You seen the way he looked at the people talking. He was looking them dead in their faces, and he kept applying more pressure to his neck as
and
the
then
people
told the man to get up. And then how is the man gonna get up? And this is the thing. And then to even look at that white woman in Central Park calling the cops on that bird watcher and act like she was in danger. And so, you know, when you start seeing stuff like that, it's like, okay, it's a bigger world than some of this stuff that is taking place on here.
Very true.
And I mean, you know, not to say that we haven't participated in some form, but it's a bigger world. It's a bigger world out here. And it just really, it's a real scary time. Not only are we dealing with this, but we're dealing with COVID. We're dealing with financial situations where people are losing their jobs. It is just not a good time right now. And we just really need to kind of shape some things up. I'm sorry, King Payne. I mean, but it's really, it's some real serious stuff going on.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback off of what you said earlier, words are poison. Words can definitely be poison. I seen this experiment one time where the scientists, they took two plants, okay? And one plant, they played music and sang to it every day. The other plant, they cussed at every day. The plant that they cussed at every day died within the week, and the plant that they sang to flourished and grew. So your words can definitely be poison.
And that's what it's
absolutely. Absolutely. And just to speak to cancel culture really quickly, cancel culture isn't real, okay? A lot of times when you cancel somebody, it ends up backfiring because all you do is make the people that you're talking about bigger and larger, and, you know, they grow. The only way to truly cancel somebody is to unsubscribe to everything that they're doing and everything that they're affiliated with. Period.
Yeah. But you know what, King? So I think sometimes people on here, especially in this sector, they're quick to say they don't watch people or I don't do this. If I say I don't watch you, I don't watch you. But what point is it to come and watch one and only have negative things to say about them? Because if you think we're so boring and, you know, we don't bring anything to this sector, why are you taking that time out, that hour or so of your life to watch us?
Yeah, and let me say this, Rebel, too.
It makes the point.
I don't cancel people, but I fade from folk. I've learned how to fade from some Jehovah's Witnesses who won't go to the Kingdom Hall no more. They just stopped coming. They stopped selling the magazines until, you know, they are not. And that's what I guess you have to do. You have to fade from folk. I just think you really have to. So I don't watch certain YouTubers anymore because the use is if I do watch, then that means I want to go ahead and feed into it. And I'm just learning again, if you want to stop the oven fire, close the door and cut the supply of oxygen. Long as you supplied oxygen, you're going to have that fire.
And you're truly a miserable, pathetic person that you only watch people to critique and only say negative things about. Does that validate you? Does that make you feel better that you can break someone else down? It's just, I've never understood that type of mindset. I just don't get it.
Well, for some, that's just what it is. You know, this gives them the platform and even the support to just tear people down. Some people I've been in chats or watched chats where some people say they only do it for mess. They only do it for.
And what talent does that take?
People.
What talent is that?
It doesn't. It doesn't take any talent, but it doesn't take any talent. It doesn't take any informative information, any kind of education. It's just mess. But at the same time, what benefit are you giving to your people? And some people have even said to me, I don't come on YouTube to get educated. Okay, cool. You don't come on YouTube to get educated. Yet when you turn off your YouTube though, what are you turning on? Or are you turning anything on? Because are your lights on? Because
you watch news or anything?
Are you anything? Because real talk, this is by far, like, if you never thought we were in something before, please know that we're in something now, and there's no kind of time to just sit back and kind of let it play out. You're either on the side or you're not.
Yep. Right. In order to hold somebody down, you have to stay down there with them. And I just think that, don't get me wrong, you all, I can't speak for you, but I know that I have beef for dollars and so on and so forth. But when it gets to the point where it's to tear folk up, put people's personal info, do personal, I'm talking about numbers and stuff, then, you got to realize, it's you get to a dark place. And so we have a choice. We have a choice to stay in it, or a choice to just fade and move on. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, absolutely. So that brings me to my next point. Racism. Okay, there is an epidemic going on in the world that we may never find a cure for, and that epidemic is racism. Okay, the new racism is to deny that racism even exists at all. What are your guys' thoughts on the Central Park Karen? Captivating?
Cancel her altogether. Central Park Karen can go disappear from this whole planet Earth. However, she's not going to, because somebody's going to hire her who agrees in her stance. So she will wind up getting another job.
Trump supporting organization.
Right, exactly. She will be getting another job somewhere. However, I will say this, and not even just in regards to her, speaking to my own people, a lot of us are uncomfortable talking about race because we have some white friends or white colleagues that we don't want them to feel as if we're going against them or being angry with them. I know a few friends, some personal, that have an issue constantly talking about race and the racism that's happening in this country in which we were brought to, because it makes them feel uncomfortable, as if they're picking one side over the other. And my thing, or my question is, how much more do you need to see? Mm-hmm. How much more do you need to witness that? Not, and I'm not saying everyone, but that there's actually a them and an us going on. Like, I really don't get it. It's not saying, oh, you hate all white people. No, that's absolutely not the case. But hey, you got to stand up and call a thing a thing. And that's the problem with racism that we deal with today. It's nobody really wants to say it. It's like, you can participate in the acts of racism, but dare you call me a racist? That's so disrespectful. Why not? It fits.
Right.
That's absolutely it. And Rebel?
I just was disgusted by the video. It was that whole white entitlement thing that I've witnessed for so long. Amy Cooper, now known as Central Park Karen, she was vice president of investment solutions for the company in New York. The company viewed the video and they fired her because they didn't support, what she was doing. And you could tell when she had, first off, the dog was screaming for help. He was howling.
Yes, she was strangling that dog.
So you've had the dog for 2 years. She adopted the dog. And if that dog was acting like that while she had it on a leash, you can imagine how it was tearing the hell up. It was probably everywhere doing everything. So when this guy, Christian Cooper, who has the same last name, surprisingly, um, I think that she used her white woman title to, oh my, she was talking in a normal tone. I'm a white, she didn't say she was a white woman. This African American man is threatening me and my dog. And then when the dog started making noise and stuff, she fed into that because she started her voice reached higher decibels and she started acting like as if she was being attacked at that moment. So that would make the police come out much faster because oh my God, this African American man is attacking me, and you can hear the dog howling as if the man was doing something to the dog, and it just took me back to that woman that was following the black man in the apartment building, saying, "Where do you live at? Where are you going?" Remember her when she was walking, as if she has that right to question who he is. Who the hell are you? I grew up part of my life in a East Texas town, so I witnessed slight racism, but it wasn't overt. But I know that that's a carry on from the older guard. Once they die out, there may be a different type of, some type, because people are mixing more. Let me say this, people are mixing more. You don't know who you're talking to nowadays. You don't know if you're talking to a person like Halsey, who identifies as black. So you don't know if you could be displaying racist tendencies in front of someone that may have a grandparent that's black. I think racism will always exist, but I think that we've come some distance, but it's just not accepted. Like back in the Tom and Jerry days when you had the black mammy, that they had these over exaggerated features that would never be tolerated in today's, where we're at today, they wouldn't play that type of a cartoon. But I think we still have a ways to go, but we've gotten a little away from where it was once. We're not in the 50s anymore, and we don't tolerate the same things that our grandparents may have tolerated. We give a different reaction than them. Let me just say that.
Absolutely. Brother Jay?
I think knowledge is power. And I think when you don't have it, you're powerless. I think that you have white people who are in power, who know how to push buttons. You have poor white people who are uneducated and think that minorities are taking everything from them because the people in power have said so. But yet the poor white people feel that one day they're going to be just like those wealthy white people, which without knowing history, I always tell people, even in the antebellum South, if you weren't a part of that aristocratic society, you were considered scum. And those wealthy families didn't want you to marry, if you were a poor woman, their wealthy sons. And the wealthy landowners didn't want those poor men marrying their wealthy daughters if they were white and poor. Because the whole deal is, your parents got money, your parents got money, together we can make an empire. That has been the whole thing, economic. But now those white Southern antebellum aristocrats made these poor white police. They gave them some power to keep in check, not knowing that those white people who were poor were just a little step better than those black people in their mind, but those rich white folk could care less about them. And I see it today. Every time poor white folk go through economic hardship, it's somebody stealing their jobs. Not knowing that the rich folk done offshore and off board at your job somewhere else because they're not willing to pay you good money. Right. And so then you got black people who don't know their history, don't know the struggle, don't know about people who've been lynched and the voting rights where people were hanged and all of these things going on. So we don't even know our history. So we fall into this foolishness. And we don't understand that if you want to succeed or want the best revenge to be successful, I still want my 40 acres and a mule. You damn right I want my stuff because it was promised to people, just like the Indians were lied to. And this is what we don't understand. We got to look at the history. The daggone Cherokee Indians had a treaty with the United States. And Andrew Jackson act like that treaty was toilet tissue to wipe your butt on. And so the United States made a promise to black folk, and they have not done what they're supposed to do. I see racism like that. Then you look at the police. You have a whole man sitting there trying to defend his girlfriend and his place of residency because these undercover cops, not even in their uniform, trying to get in the door, not even announcing themselves. But yet he's in jail. But yet these officers can sit here and shoot people, and that white police officer, that black police officer who shot that white woman, he was a police officer and
sent him right to jail. They sent him right to jail,
and he went to jail. And then you want to tell me that we don't live in a racist society and we don't see color? Bull crap!
Yep,
absolutely
false. Bull crap!
Yes.
I mean, we saw
it makes me sick
how he was treated, but yet still succeeded. And let me tell you about that cancel culture. Barack Obama, they tried to throw dirt, but flowers grew everywhere. And now we're seeing what this situation is going. And now you're trying to malign this man's legacy because you won't ever live up to what he's been. Racism is existing, and it's unfortunate. But whenever you have people who think they're better than somebody else or try to distinguish themselves in some form or fashion, you're going to have it.
Yeah, I will say this real quick. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend has been released from jail, and the charges on the process of being dropped, but he has been released from prison.
Yeah, he shouldn't even have to go through all of that.
He shouldn't have at all.
I mean, come on. You let these men shoot a boy jogging in cold blood and they out for 2 months?
Right. Before anybody even started to say anything like, hey, what's this about? Yeah, it's really ridiculous at this point.
Absolutely. And just to go back to white people calling the police on black people for no reason, that makes me so sick. Like, it really makes me sick to my stomach. White people like that disgusts me, okay? Really disgusts me because it's like, it reminds me of back in the day when, a white woman would accuse a black man of anything and they would go and lynch him. You know what I'm saying? The time when the boy had whistled, he whistled at the white woman. Allegedly.
He never did it.
She lied about it.
She lied about it. On her deathbed, she told the truth. He never did that. So she could die in peace. After carrying that secret for so many years. Like, that's ridiculous. Even recently, just a couple days ago, the white gentleman was in the gym. There were 2 black men also in the gym. He asking them where they said they have an office space here. He's talking about no, he doesn't believe them. He called the cops. Actually, the owner of the building relinquished that white man of their lease. So they no longer have an office space in that building. But it's sad that we even have to go to these lengths to have this kind of thing happen. Like, it shouldn't even be. But because, and this is very important, people, and don't miss this, it is coming from the top. All that he is saying, he is just unleashing and opening up these people to say, you know what, that's my president. I believe what he believes. We need to get rid of these people. They got too much right, too much power, too much this, too much that, and whatever they can do to cancel it, they will do it. So please, I implore you to pay attention, vote locally mainly. But yes, for this presidential election, yeah, there are some things you're going to have to just swallow, talk about and, really have a discussion about. But please don't play into the hype of it all.
And the sad part about it, too, Captivating Christian, is those same white people are the ones who are suffering and unemployed. The farmers who supported him now are suffering because they voted for him. And people, this is the sad, people will destroy their own livelihood to support something that they think because of racist values.
Truly will. And understand that, everybody that's kinfolk and kinfolk. So there are a lot of people who are the same color we are that don't see it for us. They see it as the other is better, and that's where they want to be. So
absolutely. Captivating Christian, what do you think about George Floyd, the man that died after being stomped by the police?
I think it's absolutely egregious. Like, in no way should that have ever happened. Coming off of the cusp of the Castile situation, that should have never happened. And the fact that happened, and then to watch, because I watched the entire video, I even seen the beginning part of the video where they like to always say, stop resisting, even though we're not resisting as a way to usher in their violence. He did not resist. He walked over to where they needed him to walk to. He walked back over there. So again, that has to do with a system that allows those type of people into their enforcement to police us. And they already looking at us as less than or wanting to kill us. So it's just an opportunity. I think it's completely and utterly disgusting. And I don't blame the people for doing what they're doing. However, the only thing I say about that, though, is what's next. After you burn stuff, poke holes and stuff, do all that, what's next?
And but if you're gonna do it, go downtown Minneapolis.
That was going to be my next thing. Don't do it in your neighborhood. That's what they expect. They want you to do it to your neighborhoods because they don't care. No, go to their neighborhoods and watch how quickly you get a response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jay Wilson.
It's amazing the simple things that these black men were killed over. One black man had a permit to carry. You had the man with the cigarettes. I mean, is selling loose cigarettes warranted all of that? And then they said this man was passing off fake money. Okay, but does it warrant all that? How they act like the man had a gun, went into some place, held somebody up. I just find it very odd again that I looked at a video with a pit bull, a damn pit bull, who actually killed a dog, bit someone in the neighborhood, charged the animal control lady, and they did everything they could not to kill that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothers me. It disturbs me because we care more about a dog than a human life.
We do.
And that bothers me.
It's just the nature and especially how they operate. I'm sure more people, even with the Karen thing, the Central Park lady, I'm sure more people were more upset about the dog being choked than what she did to that black man.
And some people said he was a bird watcher, like black people can't watch birds. And that's another thing. We are not all the same. All black people don't like rap music. All black people don't live in the hood.
We're not a monolith of what we should all be. Like we
but
are.
Even stating in school that he came from Harvard. Okay, what if he came from LSU? Or
well, what if he didn't? What if he didn't have a college degree at all?
Shouldn't have died. That was, and even sitting back watching the Asian police officer feed. You know what? I've witnessed that even like with other minorities that are trying to. You come into the black neighborhoods. A white person can walk in their stores and they don't give them a second glance. But a black person come in, you're following him. You're acting. Why the hell you been on this aisle with me for the last 20 minutes?
So I'm still trying to understand how that Latin woman throws her son in a canal, right? Blames it on two black people. She lied, but the officer in the complaint put white Hispanic or white Latin, something like that. White Hispanic, white Latin. I'm trying to figure out when did that become a thing. But I get it how they even feel like they're not even a part of
A minority
the
group
colored or the minority situation because they're lighter. What? You know,
But you know what? It happens in religious settings too, like you said, Rebel. It is so disheartening. And I'm not saying that white folks shouldn't come to black churches, but black people open their arms for white folk. And boy, if God has called you to
bend
preach
over
white,
backwards.
baby, they will put you in the pulpit. If you're a white boy that can sing, they'll put you in the choir because black people love some white folk. You know what I'm saying? But we go to their churches, baby, you almost have to pass an entrance exam, give blood, and go through all of these things just to be on the hospitality committee. I ain't even talking about preaching. I'm talking about just to be on the hospitality committee. And I mean, and the sad part about it, it's even in our religious settings. So
Christian Cooper.
Everybody, huh?
Christian Cooper is even sympathetic. The bird watching black guy is sympathetic. He's sympathetic toward Amy Cooper.
Hey, I just watched something to where in which the fiance of George Floyd was talking about something. He would like y'all to forgive the police officer that killed him. What are we? And she happens to be, of course, an other, which that's a whole nother story. But like, I'm not even. How? We've done enough of this. Oh, we're just gonna forgive him. We're just gonna forgive him again because we're brainwashed with this whole religion. To forgive us, but they can do whatever and be okay with God. No, I'm not.
I'll say this: you're either in the W.E.B. Du Bois camp or the Booker T. Washington camp. And right now, I'm pure W.E.B. Du Bois, meaning that Booker T. Washington wanted to send people to school to learn trades, how to be subservient, how to do this. Not saying anything wrong with trades, but W.E.B. Du Bois said black people need the same experience as white people. We should learn the classics just like everyone else. Our schools shouldn't just be spitting folk out to work for the man and to be subservient to the man. And I'm just telling black folk right now, you all are more than your color. We have had a history of people who were rulers, kings, queens. Even in the face of adversity, we are survivors. I am tired of us taking the seat. I guarantee you, white folk and other folk who would be put in our situations would not survive a month, much less a week. And we're survivors. But until we learn that, until our children are taught that, then we will never get it. One thing I will say about Jewish people, they will never forget, and it is important.
No, and they make sure you right. They make sure you always remember D-Day, Holocaust, this, that, and other, and they will never let you forget it. The minute we mention reparations or anything, but what do you need that for? And these are prominent people running for president right now. Okay, you talk about reparations day. What do you need that for? Why? What do you mean why?
Yeah, Jewish people never forget, and I can ridiculous. I will not forget either. And I know it makes people uncomfortable. So what? So what?
We gotta get out of that place.
For my ancestors to come on a ship in excrement and all kind of mess,
in death,
on the middle path. So you can't forget. That's why I can't call nobody the N word and be okay with it, because it's we forget. And this is the thing. And this is one thing I'm going to say. My parents back in the day, they were just coming from the Jim Crow sharecropping era. So they did not forget. But now we done moved these kids to the suburbs and we're equal and everybody loves you and there's no racism here. And I don't see color. That is bull crap. Do you understand me? And now our kids are so lulled into stuff. And then when they get hit with reality, they don't know how to act. Not all people, but some people. I'm sorry, King Payne.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to my newest member, Miss All That. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh no, you were welcoming a new member. Okay.
Oh yes, yeah. Welcome my newest member, Miss All That. And with everything things that you guys just said, my next question for you gentlemen is when does it all stop? Do you guys have any kind of resolution in mind? Jay Wilson?
It's going to stop when people take an interest in learning about others. When you're the dominant culture, and things, you put out what you want to know and what people should know. You set the standard of beauty and stuff. And my thing is, if you want to make things different, then learn about it. Let's make some things, take care of those debts that you owe. People, I get tired of people saying, I don't have nothing to do with slavery. I wasn't there, but you benefited. If you went to Georgetown University, you benefited from slavery.
Anyway,
if you bank at Wells Fargo, you benefited from slavery. If you bank at Bank of America, you benefited from slavery, because it was those institutions that traded in human commodity. And so you don't have to show your ID when you go to the supermarket with your check, but I would. So my thing is, you live in a privilege. And my thing is, even Black people, and this is why I have to go back to my neighborhood, because even Black people who are in the middle class and in the 1%, some of us need to go back, because we're entitled to an extent. And sometimes we need to go back and find out that, you know what? Yeah, I can understand. It's easy to tell this woman to go back to work, but either she gonna work and be a bad parent, or stay at home and be a good parent. Pay her a living wage so she can provide for her family.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I want. I want people to stop playing and have some serious dialogue, and sit there and stop running from it, and try to stop dismissing people like it don't matter. It matters to the person when it happens to them. Oh, one more thing too. With this drug thing, and this is what pisses me off. I can't understand that we didn't have no crack clinics in the 80s when crack was hitting, but now we got to do something with these opioids and meth. Okay, now it's important because it's happening to their kids. But when your uncle and auntie them and cousins was on crack, it was no crack clinic.
It's always been other. Just like the AIDS epidemic. I mean, when it started affecting them more so, and it was crossing over into the suburbs, that's when they started
taking Hollywood stars. They started to be like, "Oh my God, what's this?"
Yep. And even the I think we need to piggyback after what Jay was saying. We have to have an honest dialogue and stop tiptoeing around. And I had an old coworker that told me, I came from the same background as you. My grandfather worked, and this was a white coworker. My grandfather worked hard like your grandfather, and look what all he accomplished. And I told her, the big difference is your grandfather could throw a suit and a tie on, and they won't even know his background. My grandfather do that, they'll still see a Black man. That's where the whole background of them coming from a background of living, struggling in poverty, that goes out the window because they're seeing the exterior, which is a white man, compared to my grandfather, that was a Black man. There's the difference there. And, this idea of it was something about Obama she didn't like, but she couldn't say what it was. It was just something, I just don't like him. It's something about him. Of course, you're parroting with your father, who are all Republican, gun activists, and you're saying and the thing is, you're a lesbian woman with a partner that's fighting to get married at the time.
Yeah, but they racist too. And you find out in the LGBTQ, they could be the racist.
Yeah, almost definitely. Because I've experienced racism in the white clubs because they look at Black men as only, that we're fetishists, they objectify us. They want to sleep with us, but they don't want to walk in broad daylight with us.
As Paul Mooney would say, everybody want to be an N, but they don't really want to be an N.
Okay.
According to Paul Mooney.
Yeah. But I mean, it's true. Everybody wants to take the culture you want to sleep with, want to do whatever.
In my opinion, it can all stop when we all collectively decide to take a stand. Okay, we need to unite. We need to come together. We need to take a stand. I'm not against the black militia coming back. I'm not against the Black Panthers coming back. I think we need our own black judicial system. You know what I'm saying? Let us police ourselves. You guys are so afraid. You're so frightened by the color of our skin. Allow us to police ourselves. Step down. Give us our 40 acres and a mule or whatever, and let us do us. Period.
And you know
Stop
what?
Coming into our communities and killing our brothers and sisters, killing our black kings and queens. Stay out of our communities. Go to your community and wreak havoc.
And let me say this. I'm not trying to say all white people are bad, because if it wasn't the case, we wouldn't have the Underground Railroad. There were some people who really had conscience. But to piggyback on King Payne, Liberty City, Mounds Bayou, Rosewood, the Armstrong Colony, all of these and cities in Oklahoma, all of these towns were self-sustaining towns. They didn't need nothing from white people. But what happened? White people saw that these people were making and they were making money. Liberty City was a thriving part of Miami. Beautiful homes. What did they do? Eminent domain, and put Interstate 95 right through that black community. And I'm gonna tell you this too, for y'all who live in California, I don't know how long Baldwin Heights and Ladera Heights gonna stay black, because that's some prime property. And anytime you see us there, they want to take it. And so don't tell me that black people need to get stuff of their own. We've had stuff of our own, but yet people have found ways to destroy it because it makes people upset to see successful black folk. And if you don't believe it, our last president is a good example of somebody they know did an excellent job, but don't even want to give them credit.
But when do we stop killing each other also? Because we can say the racist white people, we definitely need to make a stand and be united as black people. But a gun was put up against my mother's car window by someone that looked just like me, that tried to kill me. So I understand us being united, but a lot of times we're doing more harm to our own kind more so than they're doing to us.
But you know what, Rebel?
It's also the crab in the barrel thing. We're all the black people are grouped together, and we're all being held down. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's a lot of black on black crime, is because it's the whole crab in the barrel.
I'm trying to make it
let me say this: it needs to be
from me.
It needs to be a each one teach one. I have seen black flight from black neighborhoods where the talented leave and then only come back for church services. So I think it has to be each one teach one. One thing I will say about my community is that everybody was a part of the community. And whether you lived in the projects, the trailers, or what have you, they wanted all of their kids, whether rich or poor, to get an education. And thank God that they did that. I think the community has to say, okay, we have to go back to where the village raised the child. I grew up in a neighborhood where everybody had the right to say something to you. And if you sassed back, your mom and dad would have known about it and you would have gotten it double. So that's number one. Number two is, let's not have these black flights. We done had white flight, but now we get black flight and people don't want to come back to community to help. I think that we have to go to these projects and go to these trailers in these low income areas and deal
it's
with
not a narrative. It's not a narrative. It's reality.
Yeah,
it's not starting a narrative. There is black on black crime. People black are killing other black people. Get the hell out of here with that. That's real.
My thing is, I think it's a lot of economic. I think people without hope just will do anything. They will do anything. Let me say this, Rebel. Let me say this. When people don't have opportunity, Dad, King Payne, you want to be popular?
You're morphing into two.
You won't hit twice. But anyway, what I'm saying is, okay, King Payne doing experimentation. Okay,
you're quoting yourself.
But look, there is a town in Ohio, Middletown, Ohio. AK Steel was there. AK Steel closed down the plant to very limited capacity. This town was a solid middle class town, 98% white. When that steel mill closed, they start dealing with drug problems and crime. Now Middletown is the opioid capital almost of Ohio. People are robbing, crime has gone up. So what I'm saying is it doesn't matter the color. When you take away economic opportunity from people, when people don't have no hope, I don't care what their color is, they will do it. Because let me tell you something, the Hmong up in Fresno, they will get you together too. So don't think Asian folk won't get. We don't hear about them Southeast Asian folk, but they'll get you together too. So all I'm saying is it doesn't matter your color. I just think that we need to start pressing that we get education for our people, that we do programs for our people to get them out of that and give them hope. And when you have hope, I think that will help. Will it solve all the problem? No, but most of it, yes.
So is slavery still a valid excuse for African Americans, or do we need to accept what happened and move on? Rebel?
I don't think we should just accept what happened and move on, because it's that mindset from those slave owners that their offspring have passed down from generation to generation. I think that we can move on when they stop making excuses and stop tiptoeing around it. Let's just lay it all out. Stop, just lay it out for what it is. There's definitely a disparity. There's definitely a difference in being a Black person. Other countries they look at Americans as white people. When I had a coworker talking about when he wanted to come to America, he had an American neighbor. And I said, what's an American neighbor? An American neighbor was a white person. So why would that be an American neighbor? But when you identify me, I'm your Black neighbor. So why the difference? So is that even that mindset that he had, that he's been conditioned to feel that Black was negative and white was what you aspired to be. But I think we have to lay it out and stop making excuses. That mindset is still prevalent in today. We just have to address it and just lay it, let's just put it all on the table.
Period. Captivating.
Of course, I think it's very important that we never forget about slavery, because once you forget about it, you're doomed to repeat it. And it may not come in the same form in which we were used to, but it's happening. There are more imprisoned people of color than anywhere in the world, not just particular states, anywhere in the world. We are by capita the highest. We have the highest level of imprisoned people of color, period, point blank to the point. So slavery is happening. So the more we talk about, oh, that was so long ago, forget about it, and things like all these things that we've discussed already continue to happen, note that we have not left slavery. Okay?
Absolutely.
The chains may be gone physically, but you have not left slavery.
The mental scars are definitely still there.
And we must never forget. Don't ever forget. Like Captivating said, if we forget, then we're doomed. We're destined to repeat history. Okay, and ain't nobody putting the official campaign in no chains. Jay Wilson.
You know what? We can't forget it when we haven't gotten a formal apology and a written proclamation and the 40 acres and a mule. How can we forget something? And I think it's it's a slap in the face when Asian people came to work the railroad, or the Japanese during World War II were encamped, but they got an apology. The Jewish people have gotten apologies, and they've gotten reparations. And I mean, they came over here on their own accord, but we didn't. So I can't accept that. And no, I won't forget, because it's very, very important. And I don't want to forget all of those people who died, because like you said, when you forget, you go right back into the same thing again. And I think people want folk to forget, and we cannot. And I want to remind them of what they have done as well. And it ain't guilt, but it's like the Jews in Germany.
Right.
the Jewish people were ashamed of what happened in those concentration camps. They were ashamed, and it's against the law to even fly that flag that Hitler had.
Yeah.
But yet we allow Confederate flags to be flown in the
Right.
United States.
And
So,
then call it a piece of history because Southern white folks want to feel like it's a part of history. It's a part of history for whom?
yeah.
Exactly.
First of all, they were against the United States. So if they were against the United States, they were terrorists to begin with. So why even celebrate that? If we're gonna be a culture where we don't celebrate terrorism and terrorists or whatever, then why do we still have it?
And look, I don't have a problem with Confederate flags and Confederate statues, but they belong in a museum. That's where they belong. So because we should not, and I don't think we should try to erase history, but we are the United States. And I just think that we need to do better. And so, no, I will not forget. And you know, I don't have a chip on my shoulder, but I will remind people that if slavery is what we need to stop talking about, then make sure that white police don't put their knees in black people's necks and shoot women and do all of this stuff. I mean, this stuff that's going on now. And let me tell you about this plantation system. Not only is the plantation system happening in prison where these people are making 10 and 20 cents an hour for these major corporations, but if you are poor, you are on a plantation system. Okay, when people can get rid of you at calls, you're on a plantation system. And so my thing is sometimes we think that it's the prison, but how many of you all can just walk away from your job and not leave and then lose everything you have?
How many of you are working at a place where in which it's deemed essential and all you're doing is giving out fries or something that really, I mean, but you got to go to work.
Your life at risk.
But you got to go to work.
That you may have at home now.
And let me say, this COVID has really shown you. Not only are we dealing with racism, but we're dealing with classism as well. And that's a large thing. You know, they don't care about them people at the Tyson meat plant, but yet they want the people to go and do the food. But should the people die for a piece of hamburger, a piece of steak?
Right.
But they're not people, they're brown-skinned people.
Right. I mean, even to the point where even the federal prisons, Bill Barr has just made it so where they were releasing people out of prison, putting in them home release or whatever, or home detention due to the COVID-19. Mainly, all rich white folks like Trump's campaign manager, Trump's ex-lawyer, all those people are home right now. Then he went back and changed it. So therefore, regular people, black and brown people who happen to be in the federal prison system, it ain't gonna be so easy for you to be released and to be placed on home detention. So I mean, it's so much going on that's entangled in this whole web of a system of racism that no longer can we just sit back and ignore it and just think, oh, wait till so and so comes in, they're gonna change it. No, we can't wait.
And I'm gonna say this.
Absolutely.
I don't like either party. But you better go where your interest lies the most.
Right.
And I'm going to say this as well. I know Biden done said some stuff, but Biden know that black people, especially them people in South Carolina, gave him another chance. Black people, y'all need to say, okay, we got you in, and this is what we need, because we got some demands, friend.
Right.
Okay. Period. Period to the period. Which brings me to my next point. Okay. Self-love, okay? Before you can love anybody else, okay, you must love yourself, okay? Self-love is necessary to drive away self-doubt. Tell us what you have been doing, okay, during this quarantine to practice self-love. Rebel Son?
I've been just, taking time to myself more so. And I feel that that's the scary thing for a lot of people, that they're not accustomed to being by themselves. And I've learned to, just even, you know, with a person I was dealing with before, I know some things are not acceptable. So with ending that interaction that I had, that's what I'll call it, that interaction that I had, I felt like I was a weight was lifted off me. And what are you trying to hold back a grin up there?
No, I'm just laughing. You said situation. I was just laughing at what you called it. That's all. Just
Right.
laughing at what you called it.
But but I think just the whole taking time to myself, you know, practicing on my writing, and I think that I've learned. I've always been a person that didn't have to have a lot of people around me, but I think you do learn yourself even more so when you're not, you know, you're not meeting your friends for brunch, and you know, you're not having to feel good when people are telling you you're the best thing, and you know, you're not at a club and all the guys are flirting with you. I think people may let that be things that validate them. Whereas here, you know, with me being to myself, I think even after all this is done, I'm still gonna keep some of this, you know, that I've learned as far as not having to be, and I don't think I had to be around crowds, but even more so just sometimes I just want to be to myself and not deal with a lot of people. And, you know, just sometimes you don't want to even be on the internet. You just want to sit down, read a good book, take that time off, disconnect. You know, sometimes we've lost ourselves to the internet a lot of times. But that's, you know, that's just my view on that and what I feel, King. Or
Hello, King Pain is frozen again.
All right. Well, I'll say that it's definitely
we seeing double again.
sense
The
of
double twins.
all right. It's definitely giving me a sense of
I don't
self-reflection.
know what's going on today, you guys.
It's definitely giving me a sense of self-reflection. Definitely to reflect on not only past situations, but goals for the future and where I want to place myself. Affirmations of faith, affirmations of like goals, like I said, and just trying to find staying in touch with my center, being grounded in what I believe and all of those things, and kind of having time to myself to really. I mean, I don't mind being by myself and focusing on myself. So that whole with this whole thing that just added to it, but a lot of times people feel like they need other things and other people to validate them, and you just come to the realization that you are enough. You know, you are enough. You are capable. You can do, and you know that's something that will definitely carry with me. I've always had it, but it definitely intensified during this whole COVID-19. So I will definitely carry that on.
Absolutely. And Jay Wilson?
You know, I'm like Rebel far as just cleaning out. I have been off YouTube again, not because somebody has forced me off or anything, but I decided that I need to take a new path. And when you see things that are not working, you do something different. So I am on an awesome path. And like I said, I've been doing quite a few interviews and they've been successful. And I have some decisions to make, but that really helped me to focus. And and it was amazing that people would call me, "Are you okay? I saw you're not on YouTube. Are you?" I'm like, "I'm fine." And what I want you all to know is what you see on YouTube is not what people do in person. And I hope people can distinguish between the two, because some people get caught up. And so sometimes you have to pull back. So I really like the fact that at 50, I'm doing some new things that are going to really, really be beneficial. I'm glad at 50 that I am really in a healthy, loving relationship.
Okay.
And yeah.
Oh, you are in a relationship.
Oh, I am. Oh, I am. I just
Everybody else.
and I'm going to say this, and I have learned that everybody's business is not my business. I mean, my business is not everybody's business on YouTube. And that's why you pull back, because at the end of the day, once this camera is off, I have a life outside of this. and I don't need this for validation. I don't need this to make me feel some kind of way. I don't need this as a power trip because I had power before I came on here. And people who don't know how to use it, you can see what they do on YouTube. And so that's where I am, and I'm in a good place. So I have learned that it's never too late to do something different. It is never too late to go through a different path. And some things we've been doing, sometimes God may be saying, you know what, it's time for you to do something else. You've been doing that all your life, or you've done that. Your season is up with this. It's time to go to something else now. And I think people need to learn how to stop being afraid and step out and do what their heart is telling them to do. And that's what I've been doing.
Absolutely. What I've been doing to practice self-love, I've been meditating. I've been secluding myself. I didn't get clear. Everybody must go, okay? And I just need to focus on me. I isolated myself, and I've been cleansing and stuff, just focusing on me, period. That's all I've been doing. So this brings me right into my next question, okay? Self-love is very important. And like I was saying, before you can love anyone else, you have to love yourself, okay? So my next question is, can friends, okay, have good sex and keep things on a friendship level? Yeah, okay? Jay Wilson.
No. No.
Okay. I feel the same way.
No, because people feelings get involved. And then so say if you're dating someone and that person is a friend, but now you found somebody who you want to be your life partner, that don't go over well. It doesn't go over well, and people, juicy will get folk crazy sometimes, and y'all just got to step back. I don't know if you're a friend and there's some lines. I'm just saying, I don't think you can. And I think you miss up friendships when you even do it. And this is what if you have a friend and y'all friends, don't convolute it with sex. Don't convolute it with sex. Because once you do that, you may not be able to get that friendship. The innocence is lost. That's my thought.
Absolutely. Captivating Christian?
I have to disagree a little bit. I mean, I personally feel like if you set boundaries and ground rules and you stick to those, then you can be. But it's when you cross those lines. If you set lines and boundaries to where in which, okay, if I'm single, you single, and that just happens to happen, hey, you need to learn to separate yourself and be like, hey, I'm with somebody. Okay, cool. And you can continue to be friends and just be friends on that friend level, not wearing with you, oh, well, so-and-so not here. How about no. Because you have to set the boundaries. You have to set the terms.
So I'm going to ask you a question then. So if you do that, so I'm like, do you sleep with all your friends?
No, you don't. I don't sleep with
I'm just asking because you slept with one.
No,
no, okay.
No, I'm just saying that no, again, it's about setting boundaries, and everybody doesn't get, I for one don't pick everybody and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep with this one, that one. There's too much stuff in this world to be sleeping with everybody. That's ridiculous. However, I will say that if you set boundaries, then therefore everybody, what boundaries not to cross. Now, when you cross those boundaries, that's when it becomes a problem. And then the whole friendship becomes in question because the boundaries have been crossed. But when you keep it a certain way to where in which, like I said, if the person's single and you single and y'all just happen to whatever, and then that person knows that you're talking, that you found interest in somebody else, and you say, hey, listen, I found interest in somebody else. We're working this out. See how this goes. Now, if that's a true friend, even though y'all may have done stuff on the side, they'll say, you know what, happy for you or whatever, and keep it moving and find interests of their own. And y'all won't even do the whole rolling around like y'all used to do. Now, not everybody does it. And I'm not saying, you pick all your friends like that, because that's not the case. but certain friendships.
Well, if they're good enough to sleep with, shouldn't they be good enough to be in a relationship with? I'm just saying.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
Okay, on period.
Because my thing is, when you start doing that and y'all intermingling, y'all sharing stuff, that's intimacy. But that's
well, it's intimacy anyway. I mean, your friendships, your regular friendships, even excluding sex, can be intimate.
Because you can be somebody on Jack the Grinder and sleep with them. Do you want to be with them forever?
But they ain't your friend.
But they ain't got nothing to do with it. But even your friends,
you're sleeping with that friend, but you may not want to be with them like that. But okay,
I just don't see it that I'm in a relationship. I mean, no, I'm sleeping with my best friend, and then I get in a relationship. My partner is going to feel some type of way about my friend being around because we used to have sex. Like, why would you even want those complications in your relationship? Or the other option would be to keep it from your partner, and then you already starting your relationship off with lies. So I don't think that it's a good idea, and I wouldn't do it myself.
I mean, that all has to do with the That all has to do with with how you choose to govern your whole thing.
Now, hunting though. So is it like we've been friends and all of a sudden you say, I wonder how it would be with you?
No. I mean, so who knows? Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes
because we're men. You're attracted.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like you men,
you're not attracted. Well, okay, it's different. It's different. Like I said, it's one thing to say, okay, it is what it is, but a friend, I don't know. I
feel like you, Brother Jay.
I had a friend who actually said that they liked me and I didn't know it. And he's like, you didn't catch the signs, and it kind of did something. I'm like, I felt kind of like
because you
like family. It was like family, and it's like, okay, no, though. And this person was extremely attractive, but I'm like,
yeah, but I mean that happens too. But that happens too. Sometimes you even sleep with someone, or you've been dating someone, or talking to somebody, and it just doesn't click in that way. But you wind up being the best of friends, and you just move forward. Do you always tell the person that you get in a relationship with, oh yeah, this is the person I used to talk to, but we just became friends? No, I'm sure a lot of you don't. You just happen to be friends. But how you started your friendship, 9 times out of 10, you was talking to that person, and then it just didn't work out.
How many times you done had sex? So I mean, it's one time, and y'all be like, okay, no. But then if you up there banging like every week, and then y'all friends.
I definitely get a brief background check on all the friends. Who is that? How you know them? Is it family? Because these niggas like to be like, that's my cousin, that's my brother. Right. No, is that your brother?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, that
mother and father like what?
Yeah, that part is taking it a bit far. But I will say that yes, sometimes you do have a relationship that starts off maybe in a sexual manner, and then it just doesn't work out. Like, maybe it may be hot for that moment, then after all, you like, but you wind up being the best of friends because you just click in that way. It don't always have to be every time I see that person, I'm totally sexually driven. Like, no, some people that I even to this day are friends with now, we've done stuff in the past, and it's like, now I just look at you like, hey, it's nothing like, I wonder what it's like now. No, because I don't.
Well, you already had it.
Again,
I think everybody that had this want to try it again. Okay, on period.
Okay. That's thinking very highly of oneself.
Don't let that soft fool you.
Try it once, you try it again. Okay, on period.
Don't let that soft voice. A lot going on behind them dreads.
You know what? I think that friends. I think friends can remain friends, but I don't mean to beat my own drum, but I think this is so good that I would drive a man insane if I kind of kept it from him and he still remained around me. But I have a friend that I'm friends with to this day that when he comes over, we don't have sex, but it's like he's jumped in the shower when I've been in the shower. But we've showered at the gym together as well. But what
kind of gym is this?
I even have a friend
Like a bathhouse.
because this friend and I did have we had messed around before years ago,
Okay.
but we slept in the same bed and kind of laid under each other, but we didn't have sex.
Okay.
I think that it's a curse to be as good as I am and, to maintain a friendship. Some of y'all may not have that.
Okay, period. Absolutely. Some of y'all may not have that, okay? Period.
Sunshine for Harlem Nights. Did you see Harlem Nights?
It was no mutual shower taken. So let's not get that. Okay.
We don't know that we wasn't there.
Hello.
Right.
Exactly. Where's the video footage? Let's hit that gym.
Planet Fitness don't play. Okay.
I met guys that have slept with their friends.
Planet Fitness may not pay, but they 24 hours though. I'm just saying.
I can tell when I met the friends that they kind of have an attitude with me. I've met guys that I knew their friends still liked them, and I was like, "Wait, hold up, what's up with your homeboy?" And they're like, "No, that's my brother." I'm like, "No, I'm getting a different vibe because that brother is giving me that they kind of like have a jealousy, and they're giving me an attitude. Did y'all sleep together?"
Mm-hmm.
Now with me, I wouldn't act like that. If I messed around with a friend, we just be cool, because I don't want a man killing behind this.
I'm not a jealous person, so I don't.
Whatever. That don't mean that person is.
Well, I don't have nothing to do with that person. I can only govern myself. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Glad, Jay, that you don't have the good stuff like that to deal with that problem. But
no, it's not about that. It's my thing is my friend is my friend. And it was a guy who I met in Chicago, and we could have gone to that level, but we didn't. And because we are friends. But like I said, it is what it is. Jay don't ever have a problem getting what he wants, period. Skinny or juicy. But as I would say, once again, but that jumping in the shower thing at the gym, that just took me. I mean, was it a private gym?
We were naked. We just took a shower and rubbed each other's back with soap and lotion.
Oh, okay.
We moisturized each other after we got out the shower, and that was it.
Yeah,
there was no happy ending. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm. It was already happy when y'all jumped in there, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Was yours happy when you jumped in there?
Well, I'm with him now, so
I guess it was.
So you got your answer.
Oh, you say.
You trying to throw a little shade, but you got your answer.
No, I wasn't trying to throw shade at all. I was just asking the question.
Okay, so my next question.
I just threw you an answer.
The people wanted to know.
My next question for the panel. How has this quarantine been affecting your sex life? Captivating, since you're so open about your sex.
It seems we have this
what's going on?
I know, right?
I'm a person host.
Right. I don't have one. I've become more versed in Pornhub and any other pornographic website that brings pleasure. Yeah, I don't. I haven't.
You can call your friends.
Excuse me? Oh, I don't have friends like that.
Your friends. Your friends with benefits.
Well, the friends I have with benefits are friends with benefits, but I don't have any. And I wouldn't be opposed to having some because I know how to set boundaries and keep them.
All right, setting boundaries. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rebel.
I think that
has this quarantine been affecting your success?
It didn't affect it too much.
It didn't affect his.
I had someone that I was dealing with, but again, he became too possessive. And listen, you tell me that you're bi and you deal with, you do your thing. I'm not looking at you for forever being my future. We're having fun right now. We're friends having fun,
friends. But somebody getting in their feelings.
That's the curse, Jay. I mean, you don't have that issue, but the curse of having it be so good that it drives men insane. I've had to deal with that forever, and since I was like 9. But I think that
Okay, not since 9.
But I don't think right now I'm not dealing with anyone. After him, I'm not dealing with anyone. So
After him, you're not dealing with anybody.
no, I mean, because he was the person I was having there was intimacy there, but that's it. I go on Pornhub, Hamster, MyVidster, XTube, Triple X, NX.
He was your quarantine love. Oh,
that's cute.
That was cute.
You are so cute. It's adorable. I just want to smother you with a pillow in your
Jay Wilson.
Oh, what was the question again?
Jay Wilson, y'all still over there getting it in?
What was the question again?
Right.
I said, has this quarantine been affecting your sex life?
No.
Ooh.
No. Shit.
Just matter of fact. Just okay. Just
all right.
Now, any other time he gives an elaborate answer. Now you notice this one time he just said no.
Straight to it.
Anything else?
So the people want to know: has Juicy Booty been staying juicy?
All I will say is question, and my answer was no. And that's all I'm doing.
Okay, period to the period. Well, this quarantine has been affecting my sex life. I don't know about y'all, but bro, I'm more of an in-your-face type of person. When I'm in their face, they cannot resist me. That's why I like going to the clubs and doing all that stuff. Okay, on period. I like showing people things that I ain't never seen before. Okay, on period. When I slide through, okay. I'm like Rebel Girl. I make them go insane. Okay, on period.
Let me think you can do Edison, you could do an upside down Chinese split.
Yes, I can do the splits and all kind of stuff. I can do a headstand, okay, on period, into a split. I can tumble, all kind of stuff. Okay, I'm really flexible, which I don't know. Okay, on period. Yes, I do gymnastics in the bedroom. Okay, on period to period.
All right.
Yes. Oh, look, we've been live for about an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, and it's bringing us to an end of the show. Okay, I have just one question left for you guys. It's a hot question. Okay, when Williams asked this on her show. Okay, who is the better cook in your family? Okay, and take your time with this answer. Okay, because you're gonna offend somebody. Okay,
especially
with
in
your answer.
Family.
Okay. Period. Who is the better cook? Is it your mom or is it your grandma? Starting with Jay Wilson.
I would have to say that my mom is the better cook because I was more used to her cooking. She just had that right range. My grandma was a great cook, but I did not like her ribs because they were always hot. She cooked those Texas hot ribs, and so you had to have a glass of milk next to your ribs. And my mom's mother really never cooked. so I would say that my mom has to be the better cook.
Okay, period. Rebel Son.
My grandmother was a better cook because my grandmother was an old Southern Louisiana type of etouffee jambalaya. She would roll out her flour and make dumplings, peach cobbler, blackberry cobbler. My mother would, throw some hamburger helper together or some, she could make, my mother was a barbecuer. She could barbecue really well, but she wasn't doing a lot of homemade cooking. That my grandmother was the cook in the family. So it was her.
Okay, period. Captivating.
I would say my mother is the better cook. Although my grandmother did live with us, and she still resides at the house. My mother mainly cooked. So my grandmother would, cook the major holidays or whatever. She would do that. My mom would still cook other stuff, and my grandmother would mainly do the sides. So, yeah.
So you cook like your grandmother?
No, definitely don't cook like my grandmother. I don't burn stuff. Okay.
Grandma's watching this. You just let grandma watch the burn the food. No,
I love grandma.
That was ugly.
I know she knows I love her, but she's on the Cajun side. I mean, the older she's gotten, it's more Cajun.
Became more black, and everything was like blackened.
It's just it's just like stick to the potato salad and stuff like that, which you do great. But please don't fry no more chicken or nothing like that, because But anyway, yeah, my mother was the better.
Yes. Okay, I know that's right. For me, it was my mom too. It is my mom too. I love my mom cooking. Okay, I'm here. Don't nobody cook like my mom. Okay, I'm here. Brianna to the period. Okay, my grandma. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. A couple years back, I would have probably gave it to my grandma, but as she is getting older, okay, the food is not tasting the same.
Right.
So my mom definitely got it hands down. Okay, on period.
You know what? Because I went to a friend of mine's house, this guy that I was dating, and he was talking about my mama can cook. My mom can cook, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So she had made potato salad, and when I saw little grapes and raisins and stuff in there, little pieces of carrot, and you know what? You have to be polite. I started eating it with my normal face, but I wanted to, I was like, "This is sweet." And I kept nibbling. I was just taking my time drinking. And I was like, can I get a to-go plate? I wanted to, when I get home and watch a good movie, I want to finish this. But baby, she
always be doing that kind of stuff. Stick to the recipes. Don't be doing.
She was doing. It was too much going on. It was carrots and
too much
little pieces of. It was like it was nasty. And then she had like cake that she had made, and it was like a fruit cake type of thing. She did like a lot of extra stuff that made it just be. The cake would have been good if she didn't put all this caramelized.
That's what you get for watching Martha Stewart.
You need some celery, some onions, some eggs, some relish, some mustard to make it yellow, some smoked paprika, and maybe a little dill weed. You don't need all that stuff. Come on now.
Okay. Absolutely. Period. Well, this brings us to the end of the show. You guys, make sure you guys are hitting that like button and make sure you guys share this video, okay? There's not another show on YouTube like the Gentleman's Panel, okay? There's no other place you can go to and get the news, okay, from a male's perspective. Puriana to the Purier. Before we get up out of here, I want everyone to tell them where they can find you and what you have coming up, starting with Rebel.
You can find me at the Sun Tribe, Rebel Sun. I do my carpool conversations. With everything going on with this whole COVID thing, I'm not able to go out and do the interviews that I wanted to do, so that's on a standstill right now. But catch me in the mornings. I started doing with my friends. We do Sunday. We get together Sunday night, and ask basic questions. It's like Hollywood Squares almost. So you can see who my circle of friends are. Come check me out night. I kind of try to fit in somewhere between Jay and Phi, or some of the others, because Jay may go on 3 or 4 times, so I got to find my way in there.
Just once, don't lie. Just once,
depending on what's going on.
Hello.
Okay, and captivating.
You can find me and the rest of my state reps on Cap Hill on my channel Monday through Friday, giving you midday news on the rundown, and Tuesdays with politics and wellness with Mr. Credential, and the weekend recap on Saturday. That's where you can catch me.
Piriana to the Pirier. And Jay Wilson?
Well, of course, I'll be doing my Sunday inspirational service, but I am going to be talking with and about some people we're talking to and talking about. So I'm going to be interviewing some folk from some colleges, some people in the entertainment industry. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and a few panels. But I'm in this kind of environment, I don't want to be frivolous. We're in a serious situation. I want to talk about things that mean something to people.
Absolutely. And you guys already know how you guys can find me. I am the official King Payne. This is the home of the lituation. It's Thursday. It's the gentleman's panel. It's our favorite time of the week. Okay. Any last words before we get out of here, you guys?
Thank you, King Payne, for an awesome show as usual. Yeah. And we just think, I just want to thank all the gentlemen, you know, regardless of what goes on, we hang in here, we do a show, we do a show that is more than just frivolous stuff, but yet we can talk about fun things as well, but be serious.
Yeah, very true.
I definitely had a good time tonight, King Payne. Thank you for opening the doors and giving us, you know, all the some herb and, you know, relaxation. You know.
Yeah, this was a really good show. And thank you to all of you for participating, and see you next week.
All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put up the end credits. I'll see you guys on the other side.